Now, it's always good to have more games on the Switch, but multiplayer-focused ones, now that's a bit of a catch. So thankfully, the console is still nice and fresh, and with Splatoon 2 finally hitting stores and us playing a fair amount of the game online and offline, we've got ourselves a pretty good idea. Is it fresh or is it not fresh?
Some parts of it are definitely, it's a good analogy for it there because it's a return for Splatoon. It was very popular on the Wii U and it was a game that I loved. I'm a little bit biased because I just love the first game so much. I played a lot of it. The gameplay mechanics are something that just blew me away. So it's like a typical third-person shooter, but the mechanics, as you can see, there's a lot of spraying ink. You're the squid, you're the kid, and that's the core of it. You don't actually win the game by shooting people, by getting kills. You win the game by spreading ink. And the game main aim mechanic is to spread as much ink and if you cover the map. It's kind of like competitive colouring in. But one of the main things to overlook is that the ink also works as cover. You can swim into the ink, you can duck under the ink, you can move faster than ink. Climb ink. So you shoot ink up the walls, on the roofs, you can dash all around the place, and it creates a really interesting, it's got a lot of depth, basically.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not just like swimming around either. There's a lot of things involved, and I guess the game does a really good job at explaining it to you. Like, I mean, it has the tutorial at the start, but the game kind of forces you into just this whole dynamic of painting around, creating territory, or marking your territory as well. And the more territory you mark, the more successful and the better you are at the particular game. The more advantage you have in certain areas, and creating bottlenecks and areas in which your opponents are disadvantaged. Now, the single player does a really good job at teaching you certain mechanics and certain tricks in order to move faster, get to your objectives, and being a lot more formidable against your opponents. And I think the single player is generally pretty good. I mean, plot-wise, it's not exactly the best, but everything from boss design and the way the universe is created, and having returning characters like Marie and other characters we will not spoil, is generally quite nice.
And of course, there's the in-between now. There's the new Salmon Run mode, looking at what's new at the moment. There's a couple of new things. There's a new weapon, there's new maps. But of course, there's the new mode, Salmon Run. It's kind of like a horde mode. You can play with a few of your friends. Very
similar to that of horde mode, cooperative, being able to jump in and jump out of gameplay. Very, very fun. I guess it makes the best of voice chat as well, which generally works pretty well.
Voice chat. Do we want to bring up the topic of voice chat here?
Let's bring up voice
So
chat.
Nintendo have launched their new smartphone app. This is their solution to voice chat now. This is primarily a multiplayer game. You kind of want to play with your friends. You want to play in a party. Nintendo, they've kind of dropped the ball a bit with the online features in a few ways. It's a bit unfortunate. A few of the problems that were in Splatoon 1, I'd call them problems, are still here. First of all, voice chat, you can kind of excuse it. Nintendo have basically gone, look, we know all your friends are sitting there in Discord, in Skype, in Facebook, whatever. We know you can do your own voice chat. It's lazy, it sucks a bit, but we can get around it. We can just jump in Discord and voice chat that way. That's fine. What the real problem is when you go to play with friends, the Nintendo matchmaking online features are really substandard for a game that's primarily online focused.
Definitely.
We found most of the time when we group in groups of 2, 3, or 4, whatever our composition was with friends, it was just random as to what team we were being put on.
Playlists definitely do need a hell of a lot of work, but that can easily be patched out and patched in, depending on what's required and what is worked on. But like, I guess we can agree that all the problems are actually outside of the game. The game itself is fun; it's fantastic. All the issues on the back can easily be patched out and patched in as you please. But as far as that, the game is still great. Definitely give it a crack. And remember, guys, don't get cooked. Stay on the hook. That was awful.